All right, everyone. Welcome back. Brand new Take Aim podcast. And Big Deer and Big Stories is usually what we do. This week, we're talking about Total Archery Challenge. And if you have not experienced a TAC event, highly suggest you get online today, look it up. But if you have no idea what it is, this podcast's for you. I'm excited to have Sean DeGray with us. And Sean gives us the rundown of what to expect this year, especially at Boyne Mountain here in Michigan. I'll be there shooting for a couple days, but can't wait for June. To tell you the truth, I can't wait to get up there and participate in TAC. But Sean gives us information on what to expect up there and just overall where they're going to be this year, their schedule, all of that. But man, so much great info and looking forward to be part of TAC this year and just to be up there doing that and challenge myself to get ready for it. Something to look forward to, and can't wait. But deer season never ends, guys. We'll see you again right here next week. All right, boys and girls, we are live. Brand new Take Aim podcast. Excited to be back with a new show, and excited to talk about what's coming up this summer. We can't deer hunt, and it's kind of the hot summer days. You get bored, but excited to talk with Sean DeGray from Total Archery Challenge. What's happening, Sean?
Just getting ready for the tour.
Man, I tell you, like we just talked about Michigan and the dates, and I couldn't be more excited about the dates because, like I said, it's the kind of the middle of the summer when you're just craving to do something, and then boom, here comes Total Archery Challenge.
Yeah, we've got it's a pretty good date there, and Michigan that event is a lot of fun. I used to think it was a sleeper event for what the terrain's like in that, but I don't think it's a sleeper event anymore.
Yeah, I mean, we were just talking, and you can let everybody know, but yeah, I was saying I'm from the southern part of the state, and it's really flat here, but you're saying up in Boyne where the event is held, it's way different, so kind of, we'll get into everything TAC, but explain at least a little bit of that and just the difference in what to expect up there.
Yeah, there is a lot of topography up there in Boyne, and last year we were able to open up another course that goes down through this canyon that is really cool. It's primarily a bunch of angled shots up and down. That's the knock-on course, but the whole mountain has really good terrain. You're not shooting in a flat park when you're up there, that's for sure.
Yeah, it looks like, and Boyne's well known even down here for, skiing and stuff like that. So everybody has to know, like, hey, it's going to be pretty hilly if you're up there. But, just doing research about the shoot and all that, man, I was kind of blown away what Boyne looked like. And you kind of forget, like, you have something like that in your own state, so to speak, Sean. Like, it's gorgeous looking up there.
Oh, it's so pretty. It's beautiful. You're right on, the Great Lake is right there, either side really. But so if you're coming up for a weekend and you want to do more than just Total Archery Challenge, they've got a lot going on up there.
Yeah, there is a lot for sure. So, well, Sean, for anybody that doesn't know, give me a little background about Total Archery Challenge and kind of for the newbies. I know what it is, but I haven't got to shoot it up in Boyne yet. But give me a little rundown on that as well, on what we should expect.
Yeah, so Total Archery Challenge, it's a 3D archery experience. It's not just about the shooting. There's a whole bunch more going on there. But we've got different courses set up for different skill levels. It's not a competition. It's all about just coming out and becoming a better shooter yourself. So if you signed up for a harder course and you want to bring a friend along who's not as advanced as you, then you come up and shoot, and then they can scoot in. So really, we've got, Boyne, we've got 5 different courses, 25 targets each, a big range, and the easier course goes out to like 50, 55 yards, and then the harder courses go out to 110, 115 yards shooting. But if it's too far, you just scoot in. It really is just about becoming a better archer yourself and having a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one thing I really like about it is, for one, it's going to be a riot, but two, it gives me something, obviously, to shoot for, and I'm sure you hear this all the time, Sean, but like just to get ready for, to prep for, to keep my functionality up and my skill set up, and just go up there and enjoy the challenge, so to speak. So I think that's going to be super exciting, and I was excited to see some of the, I assume they're new. Has it always been 5 different courses, or what? Knock-On was new last year, is that right, Sean?
Yeah, Knock-On's the new course from last year. We've had 4 since we started up there, and then we were able to secure some more area of the resort to use for a course, so we added the Knock-On. So there's 5 courses now, just to make room for more shooters, and to this area we got adds a lot of fun technical shooting. And it's all like that. There's a lot of shots, you're shooting through narrow gaps in the trees or steep angles or long distance. And typically, you can scoot to the left or right or scoot in to get around an obstacle if you're not comfortable. But it really is about just being able to do things that you wouldn't be able to do otherwise, and getting real good practice at it. And we stretch those shots out quite a ways on purpose for that, so that you stretch your comfort zone, so that when you in that tree stand and you're at 20 or 30 yards, but you've been shooting 80, it feels you're very comfortable and confident in that type of distance.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So now the way it's set up, just for the user, Sean, take us through the process, like going down the road here. I know you got shoots coming up, but you basically just do it all online. You register yourself, and you pick your courses, pick the times, but you pick your events, so to speak. But I don't think there's another way to do it besides going through your website, correct?
Yeah, there isn't anymore because the event sells out. But you go online, register there. The way we do it is you have to register and knock time on each course each day, only for the morning. The afternoon is open to anyone that has a knock time for the day. They can go up in the afternoon, shoot in whatever course they want, so you can get in 2 courses a day. But yeah, you got to go online to get registered. Currently, I think there is some Sunday spots left for this year. And it sold out fast, but that's the only way to do it right now. We used to take on-site, and we still will. There's always a certain amount of people that don't show up that are registered. And so if somebody were to show up and say, hey, do you have any openings? If that group didn't show up, then yes, we would definitely let them on to fill that space.
Gotcha. And this isn't something, Sean, right? You can correct me if I'm wrong. You don't have to register for all 3 days. So if you want to come up on a Saturday instead of Friday, or Sunday instead of Friday and Saturday, you can come up and just do one.
Yeah, correct. You could do 1 day, you could do 2 or 3 days. But yes, you do not have to register for all 3 days. You kind of pick what works for you. Yeah,
exactly. So, but yeah, man, that's super cool and super exciting and kind of unique to see how you guys do this. I can't wait to see it all, but excited, just like I said. I know you guys don't put up any slouch, shots or slouch targets, so everything's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be challenging, and Sean, like if you had to give somebody a tip, or just somebody that's not the greatest shot in the world, but just guys that maybe don't practice as much as they should, maybe, what do you say to those guys to kind of like, hey, this is how you should get ready for TAC?
Well, there's a couple things, but one of them is just focusing on, you're going to be shooting in, it's hardwoods up there in Boyne, and it gets pretty thick in some spots, so you're going to be shooting through some tight gaps. Certainly not as tight as the arrow, but 6 to 8 inch gap through trees, things like that. Have obstacles in front of you. So just understanding the arc of your arrow and being able to focus out of the mind game that those trees or rocks could play on you. But one thing we're doing this year that I thought was really cool, and it's for those guys that are either new to this or maybe just want a refresher on how things work, Knock On is putting together a series of how to prepare for Total Archery Challenge. So they're looking at the type of shots we specifically set up, and then going through the motions on how to prepare yourself at each station to take the shot, what to look for, and to help you shoot better.
Yeah. I just saw that Dudley, I think, posted that yesterday, that maybe the first part of the series came out and he put it on YouTube. Is he doing several episodes, do you know, Sean, or is it kind of like a one-time deal?
Yeah, so no, I think it's an 8-series episode, and he'll go over a bunch of different things on how to shoot, but there will be some other things in there, like what gear he thinks you should bring, and which is also important, because some people come unprepared. So he kind of goes through some of that, like the things that he noticed when he first started shooting it that he thinks everybody should have, and then, of course, technique on how to shoot each of these shots. So
gotcha.
I'm almost when we started talking about it, it was going to be an 8-series deal, and we'll start posting it on our end too to let people know when the videos are out.
Perfect. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check in on that and watch some of those and share them when I see them. That will be fun to watch for sure. So, Sean, kind of backing up a little bit, give me a little kind of idea or thought process, even business-wise, of how you went in to this throughout the country to pick these locations. I know we've talked about, at least offline, for a minute, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Utah, Texas, and I know you have some other locations as well. But how did that come about, and how did you guys kind of come up like, this is a spot we definitely think, Total Archery Challenge will do well here?
So Michigan's one of the higher states for bow hunters, for registered bow hunters. So we needed to get up into that area. But when you start looking, we actually, there's a guy there, a local guy named Josh Deering, who I spoke with, and he actually came out and met me in Boyne, so we could look at it and I could get some feedback on a local shooter. He's a competitive shooter, or was a competitive shooter. So he kind of gave me some local feedback on what he thought, and based on, what he was saying and our own research, we thought, this does have a really good opportunity, even though it's quite a ways away from, let's say, the metro areas in your state, but we figured people would be willing to drive to get up there because it is popular to get up into the northern Michigan. So we gave it a shot. And actually, our first option was Father's Day weekend, and so that made us nervous, but that was our only option. So we took it, and Michigan's now one of our biggest and fastest growing events.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's awesome too, and proud that it is. Being a Michiganer, I'm super excited that it's grown so well and done so well for you guys. And obviously, here we have a great history of bow hunting and deer hunting in general, and I couldn't imagine why it wouldn't do well. But excited, kind of just location-wise. There's a great history of deer hunting just up in that area as well. But Sean, I know from location-wise, it's always a big thing for how do guys like myself. I think my drive is going to be like roughly 4.5 to 5 hours to get up there. But how do we handle? Where do we look for like lodging and stuff like that?
Yeah, so Boyne, the resort itself has lodging on site, and if that is full or booked out or whatever, there's a lot of Airbnbs up there, but also Boyne City itself has a ton of lodging within it. So there's lodging. If it isn't on site, then there's some lodging within 10 minutes of the resort. Should be plenty with all the hotels and all that. But we run everybody through Boyne, the resort first. Once that's full, then I'd look for some Airbnbs. There's a ton of those that are on site that aren't ran through the resort if the resort's full. So it's got a lot of good infrastructure right there. Yeah,
that's funny you said that about the Airbnb, man. I was on yesterday looking, and there is a ton of them. So there definitely isn't a shortage of places to stay up there. It almost seems like everybody that owns a condo or a cabin has it on Airbnb in that area, which is cool. So you should definitely be able to find a spot. But let's say I'm coming up, Sean, for the 3-day experience. What do we have going on? What is capable, I should say, socially for guys to do to experience everything that Total Archery Challenge is?
So COVID pending, of course, but we're cautiously optimistic. On Friday night, we have an after party that we'll do with Black Rifle Coffee. It's a fundraiser for veterans. You'll come out. They'll have a bunch of raffles and some food and games to help raise funds. And then Saturday night, we do another after party, and that one is for conservation night. We do that with the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. Same type of format, have a bunch of games and raffles, things like that to help raise funds that'll stay local there in Michigan with the Elk Foundation chapter. And on top of that, at our little expo there, you know, you've got a ton of vendors that come out showing their wares. The archery range is right there. It's usually 30 or 40 targets. We'll have some novelty shots going on there from different people. Our big novelty shot is we give away a truck every year. And the last 2 years, someone in Michigan actually won it. The first year was Travis Johnson, and then last year was Chris B. So you could go up there and try to win some stuff. I know there will be a bunch of other novelty shots, winning some hunts and other things. So there's a lot to do just right there at the base. So come on out. If you only have one day you could get on and you want to participate a little longer, make a weekend out of it, then come hang out and do all these other things with us and then get on the mountain and shoot.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it seems like a riot. I can't wait. And I know the truck shoot is super fun. And one of my buddies did it last year, and I know you just mentioned Chris. But so I was watching the show, or Chris's YouTube channel, and my buddy's shooting like literally in line with Chris. And then Chris ends up winning it. I just was like, man, what a cool story that was. Like, my buddy's there. I sent him a screenshot, Sean. I was like, dude, I'm watching you on TV. He had no clue he was on TV or on Chris's YouTube channel, but it was really funny, and it was just cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I know Chris, but know my buddy Tony, and it was just neat that both Michigan guys were there kind of representing it, and Chris ends up pulling the truck home and keeps it in Michigan. I thought it was super awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty funny because the kid that won the truck 2 years ago, Travis Johnson, he won the truck and with Chris's bow, with Chris B's bow.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, they're good buddies, I believe, or something. But yeah, that is wild. Yep. Yeah.
So it was pretty fun. But this year's truck is probably going to be the biggest or the coolest truck we've done yet. We've got a lot of people involved in it to beef it up. Of course, Leitner Designs, who does the rack. We've got Free Spirit Recreation doing a tent this year. We've got Anthem Wheels is doing rims. Firestone's doing some tires. We got a lift that's coming from Anthem. So this truck's going to look amazing. The truck is the Bear Archery stepped in. This is their truck this year.
Nice.
We haven't shown anybody what it looks like yet, but this truck is going to be awesome. Once we get all the accessories on it and everything, then we're going to start launching the actual truck instead of teasing it a little bit. But
yeah,
so we hope to get that out there here in the next week or so.
So the truck itself, the make, the model, all that, kept under wraps right now?
Kept under wraps right now. We're going to launch it here in about a week or so. But awesome. I'll tell you the year. It's a 21.
Okay.
So it's a new truck, and this truck's awesome. I've been driving it a little bit, and as soon as we get like I said, we get everything on it, all the accessories, then the Bear Archery truck is going to be revealed.
Awesome, man. Can't wait to see it. Sean, give a little bit of a little more insight on that actual shoot itself. So guys pay additional fee, I take it. They get tickets, or how's it work?
Yeah, you mean for the truck shoot? So
yeah, the truck shoot.
It's a it's a pay-to-play game. The shot is 111 yards on a caribou, and you have to be inside out on the 12 ring, so no touching lines. And anyone that makes it in goes into the hat, and we come up with some fun way to do it. Last year, Travis Johnson, since Michigan was our last one, I asked him to shoot, and we just put everybody's name on the back of a sheet of paper, their tickets on a sheet of paper, stuck it out there, and he let her rip, and whoever's name it hit is who wins. Not sure how we're going to pick the winner this year, but something similar than just drawing it out of a hat. You know, we want to do something fun. So
something fun, yeah, something cool. Yeah, I like that idea though. That's pretty wild, shooting that.
It's fun, and we let everybody know the distance so they can practice up and get out here and get their name in the hat to win. I mean, this truck, outside of all the other cool stuff that comes on it, then you get a bare bow, you'll get a dozen arrows, you'll get a soft cooler and a hard cooler from Yeti, crispy boots. There's a lot of cool stuff that comes with it gear-wise inside the truck.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's a lot. That's a big haul, man. I'd be excited to win that for sure. So, and the way,
yeah.
You know, you're describing it, and in the previous trucks that I've seen, you guys put together a rig that, I mean, like a hunter would drool over. You know, if you're going to deer camp, or like me, I always head out of state every year. I mean, it just is built for being capable of handling all your gear, man. You guys do a great job with that.
Yeah, and that's the idea, right, is to build something we'll want to use too. And we have such great partners who are involved with it to make it so that we can put this truck together for somebody to win. So that helps too. Like this year is probably going to be the best looking truck we've done.
Nice. That's pretty exciting. That says a lot, because you've had last year's truck was pretty damn sweet. So
yeah, it was. Yeah, there's no doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
This one will have, you know, last year we didn't have a tent on it or anything. COVID kind of blocked out some of that, getting some of that gear in. But this year we've got a partner on with the tent, and it really is. And we did a hard shell tent. So this year's it's going to be a really cool truck to give away.
Well, I'm super excited to see it. So I'll definitely, when it comes out, I'll have to share that on my social media too. And, you know, just overall, Sean, we're looking at, just to recap kind of before I let you go, but 3 days of the event. Each course we're looking at 25 targets. What's the average it takes, you know, a group of, let's say, 4 shooters to get through a course?
That's a fair question. In Michigan, I'd say you're looking at 3 to 3.5 hours.
Okay. That's good to know, just so everybody can kind of schedule out their day, and, you know, that especially with your knock time, that kind of helps everybody travel-wise, you know, figure out what they're doing. So that's cool. So
yeah, and that's we had to go to that because we were running into issues in Utah and Montana specifically, where everybody shows up at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m., and now you got 1,000 people standing in line waiting for 3 hours to get on.
Wow.
And so we changed that out. And, you know, where guys were taking 7 hours to get down a course or whatever. And so now we're like, well, let's just limit how many people can come and put them on the mountain and, you know, space them out. And then that way we don't run into these issues. Like if you have a knock time for 9 o'clock, you know that you can show up and you're going to get on the lift within, you know, 20 minutes of that 9:30 window.
Yeah.
Or 9 o'clock window. So, it's definitely worked a lot better. I mean, we for sure could have more people come to the event if we just left it open and didn't limit it. But again, we want this to be an experience for everybody and they enjoy it. And so to do that, I think you need to limit that a little bit so that you're not waiting in line forever.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing worse than, I mean, just to put it in perspective, like being at the old amusement park somewhere and you're waiting in line for every ride. You know, that's just not, you know, overall not a fun experience. So I'm sure for you guys it was kind of like, man, growing pains, you know, when 1,000 people are there, and it's kind of like, what do we do? So you had to do something, and, that's a really good system that you guys put in place.
Yeah, it's worked out really well, and the folks have just embraced it. And that's not to say you're not going to wait on a target here or a target there for a minute, but you're not waiting for 45 or an hour to do it. So,
right.
And that's what we're trying to avoid. So it will continue to expand as much as we can. If we can get more space, we'll continue to open it there in Boyne and allow for more people. And we're always trying to figure out ways to improve the event so that it's more and more fun for everybody that's participating.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's a great idea, and I'm excited about that. And that, like you said, I think a lot of my knock times are like 9, 9:30, 10, or 10:30. So mine are fairly early in the morning, but it's good to know, like, hey, I can show up, be there roughly half an hour early, hang out, get in line, and, before I know it, we're shooting. So that's a very...
Yeah, and we tell everybody, give yourself at least 30 minutes before you're supposed to be to the lift to get up on your course. 30 to 45 minutes early so you can get checked in, get everything you need, and fling a few arrows at the range, get warmed up, and then get up on the mountain.
Yeah, absolutely. So, listener-wise, Sean, obviously I have a lot more listeners that aren't in the state of Michigan, but, so in case you can't make Boyne Mountain, like, give us a rundown on the rest of your guys' schedule, Sean, and what states you'll be in throughout the year, because I know you're kind of getting ready to kick off your busy season here shortly.
Yeah, we're getting prepped right now, but we kick it off in San Antonio, Texas at Natural Bridge Caverns, April 16th. And then we head to Tennessee, Circle E Guest Ranch outside of Winchester. It's actually in the town of Belvedere. And that is the end of April. We were going to do Vermont. That's been canceled for now. We're trying to do a reschedule or get a new venue, so we'll see about that Northeast spot. But Pennsylvania is next after Tennessee, and that's at Seven Springs, which is just a little bit southeast of Pittsburgh. And that's June 3rd is when we kick that off, and then we move up to your neck of the woods there in Michigan. From Michigan, we head to South Dakota at Terry Peak, which is outside of Deadwood. That's a really cool one, too.
Yeah.
And then we head over to Glenwood Springs for Sunlight Mountain in Colorado, up to Big Sky, Montana, and then Big Sky, Montana over to Park City, Utah. And from Park City, we're going back to where it all started, which is Snowbird. So we're doing 2 in Utah back-to-back weekends.
Oh, okay. Now, how far is that apart, Sean, Park City and Snowbird?
They are, I don't know, probably an hour.
Oh, okay.
Is that what you mean? Or you mean it's an hour drive from one to the other, but we're doing them one weekend is Park City, the very next weekend is Snowbird.
Yep, exactly. Nope, that's what I meant. I was just curious. Yeah. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, they're not far apart at all.
Awesome.
I mean, as a crow flies, they're really close, but you got to drive around the mountain to get from one to the other.
Right, absolutely. No, I get you. So, and like I said, guys, if you're not in Michigan, take advantage, look up, head to the website for Total Archery Challenge and, pick the event or closest to you and, don't be afraid to drive and go out because it's going to be, a really good time. And Sean, it's probably unfair to ask you this, but is there a certain part of the country you like to go to most or one or two events that you really kind of look forward to?
No. We like all of them. We have so much fun, and there's so many good people that we've met along the way, so you're getting back, seeing your buds. And so, no, I mean, some areas have different shooting, better shooting, but a guy that like you, if you come from Michigan and come to Utah and do Snowbird, it's a butt kicker, right? So
for sure,
being able to go to Boyne and do it, at least it's a little easier to get done and figure out where you're at. But no, it is. I like them all.
Yeah.
When we come to Michigan, we take a little extra time because we like to fish, so we go and fish. And so everywhere is different, and the terrain's beautiful to see. It's hard to say.
Yeah, I mean,
some are easier to set up than others, so I like those.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
But outside of that, yeah.
Yeah, I bet it's neat to be able to see all the locations and what it has to offer. And like you just said about coming here, like one of the good things is, you know, you can head 20 minutes to the west and from Boyne and you're fishing literally in 20 minutes, you know?
Yep.
So that's neat. And I'm sure every location you go to has something very cool locally that you get to do. And I think that's a great experience.
Yeah, we love it. We try to pick it up, but of course, you know, on the western side where we're doing them back to back to back, we lose out on a lot of that. So we try to take advantage of it where we get an extra day or two, not on tour.
Yeah.
So Michigan's one of them where we have an extra day. We can go out and go fishing or whatever.
Yeah.
But once we get to over here to the west, they're all back to back. We don't really get a lot of extra time.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Sean, man, I think we covered everything, but if we didn't, you know, give us kind of some info on where we can find Total Archery Challenge and where guys can register and go from there.
Yeah, so if you have more questions and really to get all the more frequently asked questions, go to our website, totalarcherychallenge.com, and all the info's on there. Just pick which course you're looking or which event you're looking at, and it'll give you some details, some rundown. You can also follow us on Facebook or Instagram, which is also Total Archery Challenge. And if you just have a question and can't find the answer, then send us an email at info@totalarcherychallenge.com, and we can get you taken care of.
Awesome, man. Well, Sean, I look forward to seeing you up at Boyne and everybody else, and can't wait for the shoot, and hopefully we get to hang out and have a beer together, at least a cold beer. And I just super excited to be there and kind of just celebrate for 3 days and kick back and socialize and do all the fun stuff.
You bet. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Sean. And we'll see you guys next week. As always, you can find us Outdoor Podcast channel, iTunes, Amazon Music. We'll see you guys then. All right, boys and girls, if you haven't had the chance, make sure to download the Hunt Stand app today. Use the code TAKEAIM10 for a special discount. Also wanted to mention they have a brand new film out called The Last Rut. It's a film about the whitetails in the Deep South in Alabama, and it's just an awesome film. Josh Talkie has a great hunt in it and some great information from the local biologist down there and just the history of deer hunting in Alabama. It's a really cool film. So take 10, 12 minutes, check out the film. You won't regret it.